Welcome to the Movies to Watch Before You Die podcast. I am your host, Dylan, along with my cousin and co-host.
Gab.
And today we are talking about a movie that I have nominated as one to watch before you die. I feel like I'm sounding very political right now, but I'm just
Four
gonna,
score and 7 years
yeah, it
ago.
was the cadence.
Yeah.
You caught it. Okay.
Yes.
But we're talking about a movie that I think has been underrated, undervalued, and underseen. It is 2008's The Rocker. Gab, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor and tell me what the movie The Rocker is about.
What's this all been about? What am I working toward?
You think you know everything about me, don't you?
I dive at your bottom. I bloody well ought to.
All right, Dylan. The Rocker is about a drummer who is kicked out of his band and during his midlife crisis joins a teenage band and attempts to make them famous to spite his former bandmates.
Okay, that might be close to what IMDb said, which is in the 1980s, a drummer is abandoned by his band just before they become rock superstars. 20 years later, the drummer sees his second chance at stardom arise when he is asked to perform with his teenage nephew's high school rock band.
I think mine was a little bit better.
I think theirs is fine. The only thing I'd get rid of is high school rock band because that makes it sound like they're just doing high school things, and they really do evolve beyond that. Spoilers, obviously.
It's very reminiscent.
Are you waiting
Answer
for me to
me.
correct you?
Yes, answer me.
Reminiscent.
Thank you. It's very reminiscent of Josie and the Pussycats.
Interesting. Do you think so?
Not really, but
There's a different movie that I saw a lot of people saying it's similar to, but I figure I guess I'll bring that up maybe in our opinion time.
this is Spinal Tap.
No. Do you want
I've
to hear
never
some
seen that movie.
taglines?
No, but I don't suppose I really have a choice.
You do not. So next time you will say yes and act like you like it. So here are the
Okay.
taglines. A comedy for the rock star in all of us.
Terrible.
I kind of like the second one. Opportunity rocks.
No,
Yeah? No? Oh, come on.
sorry.
It's a play on Opportunity Knocks. You get it?
You know what? I didn't realize that at first.
Are you fucking
I
with me?
thought
Are
it
you
was-
serious?
No, I'm 100% serious. I don't lie. I'm too tired. I did not realize that. I thought that it was like rocks. I'm making the devil horn
It's
symbol.
both. So wait, does that
No,
tagline go up in your estimation?
No, not at all. I get that it's both. I just thought it was only the one. I didn't realize that it was also like opportunity knocks.
But you still have no greater feelings towards the tagline itself.
No, I think it's bad.
Okay, let's move on to the next one, which you also hate. He always knew he was going to be huge. That's it. And some talents
Why
should
did you
stay
say it
hidden.
like that?
What?
You said it like there's a comma.
I did?
He always knew he was going to be huge.
I guess
It's like-
because I told you there were two taglines coming.
No, that's unacceptable.
My delivery or the taglines?
Both.
Fair enough. Okay. So I guess, Gab, to prove that you did watch this movie to me, why don't you tell me a little bit more about what happens in the movie?
Oh boy. All right, here I go. The light is being shined on me. I'm in the interrogation room. Here we go. So this movie is about let me tell you what happens in this movie. So I don't remember anybody's name, so bear with me. Dwight Schrute is a drummer of like a Van Halen type
You don't
band.
remember his name? Come on. It's an animal.
Oh, Fish, but I don't remember what his real name was. Robert
Fishman.
Fishman, thank you. So Fish is the drummer of a band called Vesuvius.
Mm-hmm.
Got you. Vesuvius, which is like a Van Halen type, like 80s hair metal band. And they have been together since high school. They're performing at all these big events. They're huge. They're like top of the charts. And for some reason, the band is told that they need to, if they're going to hit the next level or sign with a new record label or something like that, they need to ditch the drummer they have for the record president's son or some shit.
You want me to give you the specific? Yeah, you're very close. It's
No,
basically
nobody
they're
cares
told,
about that. Okay.
Wow, Gab, I care.
Sorry.
At least I
Okay.
care. The record
Okay.
label wants to put in the owner's nephew as the drummer, so they got to boot Fish out, and then they'll be able to be big stars.
And it doesn't take long for them to decide that that is worth doing. So they boot him. He's depressed. He winds up getting a job like in IT or something at what appears to be a rental car place, as far as I'm concerned. But he's working at this IT job and he hates his life. And eventually, due to his coworker insisting that he listen to the new Vesuvius album, he loses his shit, physically attacks a bunch of people, and is fired. So, with nowhere to go and not a dime to rub together or a pot to piss in, he goes to his sister's house and stays there in the attic. Um, during which time he is confronted by his nephew who says, I don't have a drummer for my rock band. We're playing the prom. Can you please play? He eventually agrees. They play the prom. They end up making it big. And hilarity. I almost just lost my life. Sorry, cut that. Hilarity ensues.
Totally not cutting that. Gav said,
Sorry. I don't know what came over me. Hilarity ensues. And these teenagers play with this grown man who is way too old to be
We're just
hanging out
moving
with
past
them.
it.
Yeah.
I'm still hearing
tired of
it. You sounded like the Tasmanian devil. I don't know if your mic picked it up because you tried to get out of it, but I heard it.
I really am very dry. I have a theory. Corey has a cold right now, and I haven't gotten it. And I don't know to what degree it's like the man flu or like a real cold that's really killing him, but he's definitely snoring and not breathing through his nose, whatever. So anyway, he's got this cold, and I think that I am fighting tooth and nail to not get the cold, but it's making me very dry and very thirsty. And so I'm having these weird dry spell coughing fits, but I'm not sick.
Did you drink enough water today?
Dylan, there's no such thing as enough water. Here's my Stanley Cup. And there was a nice big sip for you.
Okay, this is not an ASMR thing. I don't want that on recording. Come on.
I mean, you can't hear it.
I'll hear it when I have to play it back directly in my earbuds.
Well, that sounds like a you problem. Anyway, did I do a good job talking about this movie or what?
You did enough. You did enough. You know what, Gab? Let's get to our opinions. How about that?
I have a question. Do you put ice in your water?
I generally do, yes.
Okay, cool. Me too.
I prefer it cold, yeah.
Yeah, and in the Stanley Cup too, the ice stays all day and it makes all of the water very cold. So even when you fill up, because you'll fill up at a place and those motherfuckers will have it set to room temperature because they're cheap and that shit sucks.
I'll tell you every time I use my non-Stanley Cup, whatever TJ Maxx $15 cup I bought that does the exact same fucking thing. You put ice in and it's still there the next day, and I swear I feel every time what's his name? Ricky Bobby in The Water Boy, who's like, it's still cold when he's got the Antarctica water.
That's not Ricky Bobby. That's
Oh no, that's
Bobby.
Bobby Boucher.
Bobby Boucher, you stupid. Okay.
Okay. Now that I'm a stupid, okay. Can we get to our opinions?
Sorry. Yeah, please.
In this critic's opinion,
That's just like your opinion, man.
Well, I have a right to my opinion, and my opinion is you have no right to your opinion.
I'm going to bring up what seemed to be the elephant in the room when I was looking at reviews, when I was looking at what people had to say about this movie, because I guess for the 10 people who did see this movie, they all seem to feel that it's very similar, and I want to hear if you feel similarly, to School of Rock, which I don't really get that. I get the energy of the character feels Jack Blackish, but I don't think the movies are actually similar.
Dylan,
Yeah.
I do no research for this podcast, right? I just come on and I just let my sparkling personality be what keeps people coming back. You're aware of this, yes?
And of your delusion, yeah.
You just took my entire everything I was going to say.
That you had the same thing to say as every other person, I guess?
No, I didn't even. Yeah, that this was fucking School of Rock, except not as good.
I just don't think it's the same thing as School of Rock. I don't think so at all. By that logic, you're saying that every movie where it's somebody who's joining a band that wasn't previously in the band is School of Rock.
No,
Yes.
because you're thinking literally. I am talking about on a higher level. This character was the Jack Black character, except not nearly as likable or as charming. And then essentially he takes a bunch of young losers and makes them into rock stars and teaches them to believe in themselves. That's it.
But by that logic, by this point, you're getting very vague with what the movie's about. And if you get vague enough, any movie can be similar to any other movie.
Well, Dylan, maybe that can be our next podcast. But for now, we're talking about how this movie was eerily similar to School of Rock,
See, no,
except
you're not going, you're talking literal, because now you're saying eerily similar. It's definitely not eerily similar.
okay, similar.
That's much better. Thank you.
Okay, very similar, but not nearly as good. Let me tell you what I thought about this movie. It There were two that were not completely and totally predictable. It was like a Chat GPT movie script.
Oh my God.
It was. Tell me I'm wrong.
What were your two unpredictable moments?
Well, I don't want to give away. Look, you want me to get right into the two moments that I thought were funny?
Well, now those are different things. Two moments that were unpredictable or two moments that were funny?
Well, Dylan, if something is predictable, it's typically not funny, no? If you see it coming from a mile away, it generally loses the comedy.
Not necessarily.
Okay, well, yes, necessarily. Number one, when they're at the police station. First of all, I feel like we haven't given enough context. I mean, I guess we have. They're at the police station
That's on you,
because
by the way. You were supposed to tell more about it, then you turned into the Tasmanian Devil briefly.
yeah, but I did though. I said, you want to say more?
She's taking a yawn break now. You're killing me, Gab. You're fucking killing me.
Wake up, Gab.
Take a drink of water, take a brief nap, and come the fuck back when you're ready to podcast, okay?
I'm here. I'm here. I'm in it. Why? So listen, you gonna say more, or am I just gonna continue?
I want you to continue.
Okay. So they're at the police station because at some point they're on tour. The parents agree to let these kids who are in high school go on a bus tour with Fish as the adult, Dwight Schrute, Rainn Wilson as the adult. Um, of course, because he is a rock star, he wants to party and trash a hotel room and be a psycho. And so they all end up getting arrested for, I don't remember what specifically.
He messes up a hotel room.
Okay, that's what I thought. So they all get arrested. The parents have to drive down to where they are.
Unbelievable.
Sorry, you interrupted my last one, so I didn't get it out. So the parents drive down and they're all upset and they're all talking in the police station about how they never should have let the kids go and blah blah blah. And the kids obviously want to finish the tour because they understand that it wasn't their fault. He was an idiot. He won't be an idiot, but they don't want to blow their chance. And so Josh Gad, who plays the nephew of Fish, is talking to his parents and he goes, "We have to lower my voice. We have to finish the tour." And that line was very funny to me.
Okay. What was the
Lower
second
my
one?
voice. The second one was when we meet Vesuvius again, because of course, as it would happen, what is the band's name? a.d.d.
Yes, the last obstacle you're talking about is when a.d.d, what's supposed to be their big break, is being given the opportunity to, at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, do the opening for Vesuvius, who's being inducted. But Fish
Correct.
doesn't want to do it.
Right. So he doesn't want to do it. He's embarrassed. He doesn't want to open for his old band while they get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, blah, blah, blah. And when we see they do, spoiler, they finally do it. And when we meet Vesuvius again, they randomly have British accents.
Okay, that worked for you. That was the second
was
very funny thing.
It wasn't predictable.
So let me talk about
Okay.
something that I find very unpredictable that I'm shocked to hear you're saying, I guess, that you found coming and found very predictable. Because it's probably my favorite scene in the movie. When Vesuvius doesn't even tell him. When the band manager tells Fish, "You're done, you're out of the band," they're trying to leave him in the lurch. They're trying to get in their van and get out of there. And first he like chases after the van, he grabs the doors and they drive away and he like falls off. And it kind of feels like it would have been that moment of them driving off and that's it. Like, dissolve into the next scene or fade into the next scene and see like, where's Fish at? Instead, we stay with Vesuvius for a minute being like, you know what? It's fine. We're doing the best thing. It's going to be good for him. It's going to be fine. And then Fish is sprinting alongside the car. And it's honestly, this is my favorite part of the movie. Fish is sprinting alongside the car and they finally manage to like he trips. And I'm trying to remember who it is because Vesuvius is played by it's Fred Armisen, Will Arnett, and Bradley Cooper. Academy Award nominee Bradley Cooper.
Yes.
And I'm trying to remember. I think it's Fred Armisen's character says, I was going 60. I guess he was running alongside the van. All of a sudden, we still are with them driving, and we get this great shot of Fish using his drumsticks to stab the roof of the van as he scales onto it, coming at them. And you get this great shot of where you can see just outside the van, so you can see them in the van and him on top of the van. And every time he stabs the what's the drumstick into the van, them panicking. And Bradley Cooper has these great freakouts, and there's this moment where they get him off, and he says two things that crack me up. First, Bradley Cooper, all spittily, like he's drooling, goes, "He was like a jet plane." And then once they have him thrown off the car when they brake hard, Fish sits up like he's the Undertaker or a Terminator. Like he just sits up, and they reverse the fuck out of there with Bradley Cooper going, "He can't be killed. He can't be killed." And I swear to God, I think Zach and I have quoted that for how long has it been? 16 years.
I didn't even chuckle.
Not even a chuckle, huh?
Not even a chuckle.
All right. Well, it doesn't seem like there's going to be much to say if your opinions are just like, I remember nothing about this movie already.
Well, okay. Let me say my piece here. Do you hear Sally?
I might have a little bit. Purring?
Okay. She's going,
The Prince of Persia?
you don't hear her? She's going, oh.
No, I did not hear that.
I want to move closer to see if you can hear her. She sounds like a baby. Anyway, let me tell you what I thought about this movie. It seemed like when you remember around Christmas time when all those memes were going around where it was like, we made Chat GPT write a Hallmark movie script. Ha 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 ha. And that's what it felt like. It was like not particularly funny, not very original. It felt a lot like School of Rock. And you know what? Here's a hot take, and I never thought I would say this, but I'm gonna say it. Rainn Wilson, not a leading man, very much a one-trick pony. I think there's a reason that we haven't seen much of him after The Office. I don't think he has it in him. I don't think he did a good job.
See, I think he does. Is it very similar to a Jack Black-esque performance? Yes, but I think he does a good job of it. Like, I don't think
he
that's
does
his
it as well
fault
as
the
Jack Black.
character. Okay. But are you saying like you're calling him a one-trick pony? Is this character remotely similar to Dwight Schrute? Absolutely not.
No, but it wasn't good.
Is this
I think
character
if the
similar to his character in The Meg? No. Is it similar to his character in Juno? No. Like, put some respect on Rainn Wilson's name, okay?
I forgot he was in Juno. Who was he in Juno?
He works at the gas station. He's I guess shit talks her.
Oh, that's right. I really, really, really love him. I really love The Office. I really love Dwight Schrute. I do not believe that he was good in this movie.
You know, I think pretty much everybody I think does a pretty good job in the movie. I will say Teddy Geiger who plays Curtis is obviously the least professional actor to me. Like where there are times where it's just like I'm supposed to be angry right now, so just be angry. You know, it's not nuanced.
Do you remember his music like when it was popular?
No.
Did you know?
I don't know her from anything but this.
Okay. So in the beginning of Teddy Geiger's career, which by the way, I did not know that Teddy Geiger had transitioned to a woman.
She has.
I did not know that. Still goes by Teddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So prior to transition and long before this movie, Teddy Geiger was like a pretty popular singer-songwriter. And I remember songs like Confidence. Oh, I'm gonna muster every ounce of confidence I have and cannonball into the water. You don't remember that song?
Absolutely not.
Oh my God. So Corey and I both remember that song. We joke about that song all the time. And so we went to IMDb because we were like, which one of these characters is Teddy Geiger? And on the IMDb, Teddy Geiger's photo obviously now is one of a woman. And we
Mhm.
were like, oh, that's weird. It must be a coincidence that Teddy Geiger is also a female actress's name. And then we were like, no, that's definitely Teddy Geiger. It was so confusing. I had no idea. I guess Teddy Geiger's just not famous enough for that to have been like mainstream news.
As an actor, definitely not. Like I was surprised when I went to her IMDb that I think she has like 3 credits. I was like, oh, I thought she would have been in more things because I don't think she's bad in this, especially considering this is like I obviously if it's one of your first 3 things, you're one of the stars of this movie.
Yeah. But also, oh shit. Oh
Oh
god.
my God.
Sorry. Also, she's not doing a lot of music either. Like you go on Spotify and it's like those couple of songs and like a couple of new things,
Well,
but like
perhaps I'll
nothing
say more
big,
about that when we get to our facts.
perhaps. Um,
I do think the members of ADD are all very good too. I think Josh Gad is really good as Matt, the nephew, because I do think I'm normally not that big a Josh Gad fan, like as Olaf or Beauty and the Beast or whatever. But I think Josh Gad does a very good job as this like very weird character.
Josh Gad is Jonah Hill light.
You know who Josh Gad looks like at times in this movie to me?
Oh.
Sort of looks like Mark Ruffalo in this movie to me a lot.
Wait a second. Corey said literally the same thing. Literally the same thing.
It might have been one of those scenes where they're at like the MySpace after party because there are parts of this movie that are so dated.
Yeah.
But I was totally like, that's very Mark Ruffalo right now. I think I paused the movie briefly and I was just like, what the hell?
Corey was like, not in looks, and I can't describe how, but Mark Ruffalo. And I was like, oh yeah, I see it.
Not rougher looks, but rougher vibe.
Yeah. That's so funny that you said that because I was like, oh, okay, yeah, like I could kind of see it. Um,
And we haven't
Pretty
yet
happy to know
mentioned
that.
Academy Award winner Emma Stone is part
Yeah.
of ADD.
Um, I mean, no disrespect. I'm a
Which means
big
you're
Emma
about to
Stone fan.
disrespect.
No. I'm a big Emma Stone fan. She is crazy if she thinks we can't tell how much work she's had done.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
She
Really?
just looks like a different person.
Obviously,
Yeah.
I think I think she looks very different in that movie Poor Things, but I think she's supposed to.
Hold on.
You got me looking up Emma Stone now too.
Here. I'm gonna text it to you.
Okay. This is taking a long time. There
No,
it is.
it's delivered. Like you're crazy. And I mean, she looks incredible and she has every right to have work done. But like, wow.
I gotta tell you, maybe not. Because this looks like
No,
it could just be a different
definitely.
hairstyle and grown out eyebrows.
No,
I guess maybe the nose looks a little different. I don't know.
completely different.
I don't know. Whatever. I think this is honestly the period of Emma Stone that I like the most in movies like Superbad and this.
Uh,
I think I just haven't watched a lot of Emma Stone new stuff that I'm huge on.
she becomes a much better actor. Like she sort of has this like, yeah, I'm kind of like the irreverent girl who like says shit that nobody else will say. And I'm pretty, but like I've got a mouth on me. And then eventually she learns how to play other roles and she gets really, really good.
I don't think that was ever her, but I think she started off just doing just comedy really with like movies like this, The House Bunny, Superbad, Easy A, but then branched out a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, I okay. Will we at least agree that this movie has a very good cast? Because
Excellent
we named all
cast.
those actors, and I'm sure there's still Jeff Garlin,
Yep.
Christina Applegate, Jane
Yeah.
Lynch. Trying to remember. There's got to be more people that I'm forgetting about. Did you like the songs?
Um, yeah. Yeah, I did. I liked there was one song in particular that a.d.d did that was originally slow and then they like sped it up and I was like, "Oh, this is
Bitter?
cool." Bitter, yeah.
I'll tell you, I have thought about last week we did the musical the last 5 years, And I thought about the music from this movie so much more than I thought about the music from the last 5 years.
Well, that's because you have bad taste, but that's okay.
Agree to disagree. I'm just saying, Promised Land by Vesuvius slaps way harder than the song about Shmuel. Just saying.
Um, I don't like 80s hair metal, so it didn't do
I
it
don't
for
really
me.
either. That's not my rock. You know what I
Not
mean?
your genre. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of, well, it's totally my genre, but not that specific subgenre of rock, I guess.
Yeah.
There's also a cool cameo that is not pointed out, and they sort of deleted a lot of the scene. In the very beginning of the movie, when he's fired from that job, we see him at a bus stop, which, oh wait, there's another joke I really like. It's when his life is initially falling apart. He goes back to his apartment with his girlfriend, Jane Krakowski. There's another person we forgot
Oh,
about.
yep.
And she realizes that he doesn't even have his job anymore because of the Vesuvius thing, and she's clearly initiating the dissolving the relationship. And he realizes it, and he just goes, "I break up with you. I'm sorry. Were you going to say something? I break up with you." And like he just takes the moment, I guess, from her. And I can't remember what it was that she says, but she's like, "You don't want to break up with me. I'm great." Like it just made me laugh.
Yeah.
But he's at the bus station waiting to go to Jane Lynch's, and sitting next to him is somebody holding the Rolling Stone magazine that has Vesuvius on it. And it's, it turns into just a joke where like he notices the guy sitting there and starts banging his head against the bus stop. But the guy who's sitting there, do you know who Pete Best is?
No.
Pete Best was the original drummer of the Beatles, who they got rid of and brought in Ringo Starr and got huge.
Oh, shit.
So I think originally there was a deleted scene where he's just like, I was in a band once too, and he's like, ask him where he's from, and he says Liverpool, and I think that was like the whole thing.
Interesting. No, I had no idea.
There's
I'm
also
also,
there was a behind the scenes thing where they're talking to Pete Best, and it's a really nice thing where he's like, you know what? I've got a great life. I've got my wife who I've been with for 50 years and my two daughters, and I think I won in the long run. And it's something like that. It's very nice, and it's like, yeah, you didn't, but it's nice for you to be able to say that. Like
is he wealthy? Like, did he make anything from this?
from this movie, or you mean from life?
From life?
I don't know. He didn't become a Beatle.
Yeah, but look what happened to John Lennon.
I guess these were not his only two choices. Ringo Starr's still out there and loving every minute of it, I'm sure.
Yeah, so is Paul. But do you think that he what do you think his net worth is right now?
Significantly less. Like I don't think Pete Best is like a multi-millionaire famous for anything.
Let me look up how much is Pete Best worth?
Nothing's more reliable than these random Google
Six hundred
searches.
$1,000.
He's worth more than me.
Yeah. Oh. Astonishingly, certain reports even dare to suggest that Best's net worth could be as high as $40 million. So somewhere between 600,000 and 40 million, both of which are numbers that are larger than my net worth, your net worth, and our parents' net worth combined.
I'm just saying, I just got to a random portion of his of his Wikipedia. So I'll read you first the paragraph I read, and then the second thing that made me go, oh. So first he said, after working in several commercially unsuccessful groups, Best gave up being in the music industry to work as a civil servant for 20 years before starting the Pete Best Band. So that paragraph tells me not remotely rich man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked as a civil servant. You're not getting wealthy.
Yeah.
But I do also see in another paragraph here, over 30 years later, Best received a major monetary payout for his work with the Beatles after the release of their 1995 compilation of the early recordings on Anthology 1. Best played the drums on 10 of the album's tracks, including the Decca auditions. So, yeah, maybe, again, still doing better than you or I.
Yeah. He probably put his kids through college, retired, got a vacation home, and,
It doesn't seem like he was full of shit about his life at least being decent. Like, do I
Yeah.
believe his life is better than if he was Paul McCartney? No. But he seems
Do
like
you-
he's got a great life and is not harboring, as Fish feels for most of this movie, oh, I wish I could kill all the Beatles.
Yeah. I wonder if he ever, was deeply depressed.
How could you not be? I was never part of the Beatles, and sometimes I feel deeply depressed.
Well, that's different. I just mean, do you think that he was ever, not able to get out of bed? You know what I mean? Was he how much of his life did he miss?
I guarantee you in 1964, He's not feeling good every day. You know what I mean?
Right.
When
But
they're playing
how
Shea
bad?
Stadium, he's like, oh, why?
Yeah. They mentioned that in the movie too. It was nice to hear them say Shea Stadium.
I miss Shea Stadium.
Me too,
Yeah.
dude. Me fucking too.
I also miss old Yankee Stadium. It was better than new Yankee Stadium.
New Yankee Stadium is a fucking hospital. It is so sterile. There is nothing, there's no good food. Obviously, you've been to Citi Field like more recently.
Yeah.
It's a blast.
I like City Field. It just doesn't have the same feel. There's something great about a structure that's been there for so long that you can feel the history in something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you.
Yeah.
They're gonna build like a little Mets village around Citi Field.
For the Mets to live in,
Yes.
a
Okay,
tiny
keep going.
village with polar bears.
Yes. Flying squirrels.
um, boy, it seems like we don't have that much to say about this movie. I
Well, you
think it
picked a
does.
doozy.
First of all, as the person who brought Cat in the Hat to this podcast, let's take it easy with start throwing out casual insults about each other's picks, okay?
Okay. All right,
Okay.
fair.
Let's not start some shit. I think this movie does a really great job, and I really do like the character journey that we see Fish go on. And I think you got a good little character arc from every one of our main characters, and isn't that what a movie's supposed to do? And I find it funny. And I like the songs. It's as Jason Sudeikis, another person that I forgot is in
Oh,
this movie.
yep, yep, yep.
Which there's a moment I really like with him where he is about to call Christina Applegate a MILF, then he stops and turns it into a Mimlst, which is a mom I'd like to make sweet love to, which is
Yeah.
Milmst. And then she says, "Have you ever heard of pills?" And he's like, "What? A person I'd like to stab." Christina Applegate in general, I like a lot. Very likable and everything.
Yeah, sad that she's going through it right now.
Yeah, I think she's still doing voice acting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of Christina Applegate, did you hear they're remaking Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead?
No.
Yeah. So for all like
Interesting.
3 people who listen to that episode, get excited.
I'm not excited.
I'm not that excited about it either. I think it's going to be bad, but hey, who knows?
Probably. How about the Freaky Friday remake?
The sequel.
Sure.
Is it a remake or a sequel?
I don't know.
Okay. How about that?
They're doing it though. Lindsay Lohan is in it.
Also, since we talk so much about the Beatles, did you hear they're making 4 Beatles movies?
Excuse me?
They're making a movie for each Beatle, which I don't know if it's going to combine to some Avengers-esque movie, but I imagine a lot of people are going to skip the Ringo movie and are going to feel really bad.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll go see I'm seeing the John movie. I'd see the Paul movie. I gotta be honest, I don't really care about the George movie, and the Ringo movie is definitely a skip.
I feel like they've already made a movie about John Lennon before, and you know what? I feel like he seems like he was kind of a dick. Not that he
I'm
like
sure he
deserved to
was.
get shot or anything, but like,
No.
just not a big fan of him. I'm much more interested in hearing about George. George was the quiet one.
Yeah, but he died of cancer.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like,
Freddie Mercury
he
died from a disease. They made a movie about him. Why can't George
did,
have a movie?
did we talk about when I recently Googled how like Freddie Mercury died, like his last moments?
No, we did not talk about that. There's
Are
been a
you
lot of death on
familiar
this
with them?
podcast lately,
Yeah, but not
especially
all
with
of it
people we
real.
thought were dead that aren't dead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's not morbid if they're not actually dead. So I don't remember what happened, but I was Googling for some reason right before I went to sleep Freddie Mercury's final moments. And apparently his partner was caring for him and yada yada whatever. And I guess he had been like picking him up and carrying him to the bathroom and because he was too weak to like get up and go. And so at one point on his final day, his last words were pee pee. So his partner picked him up and carried him to the toilet. Or no, he was going to pick him up and carry him to the toilet, but he didn't make it in time. So then he was just changing his underwear because he had like obviously needed new sheets and whatever. And when he went to go put the new underwear on him, he could feel his rib break because he was so fucking brittle that as soon as he like tried to help him get new pants on, his bone broke and he just died right there. His last words were pee pee, and he was getting his underwear changed.
This is terribly sad, guys.
I know.
This is
I
awful.
know. The Freddie Mercury of Queen. We love him.
I do think have you seen Bohemian Rhapsody?
No.
It's okay. There's an
That's what I
original.
heard.
You know, Sacha Baron Cohen was originally going to play Freddie Mercury.
No, but that tracks. That makes sense.
First of all, I think he would have been fabulous, but
Oh yeah, he's so talented.
he's great. Originally, the movie was obviously much more about Freddie, and apparently the band members ended up having creative differences. I guess Brian May and whatever the other guy's name is were very upset because they were like, well, no, we should also have, part of the movie that's about after Freddie dies and about the band afterwards and all that. And it's like, nobody gives a shit about Queen after Freddie Mercury dies. Like, not to harsh your buzz, Brian May. Nobody's ever like, my favorite music by Queen, the non-Freddie Mercury music.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I just always thought that was very interesting that it's like, where do you get it in your head that it's like, oh no, our best stuff was after the most interesting person in our band was gone.
Yeah, and also like, and then there's like the Adam Lambert music, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it sounds like we can both agree, School of Rock, that's a movie we watched before he died.
100%.
I wouldn't have brought that on this podcast because it felt too obvious. So
It's way
apparently
too
I brought
obvious.
School of Rock light.
You did, and it sucks.
Well, let's get to the facts and see if people agree with you.
I want the truth.
Face the facts, dukes.
Facts have no place with an organized religion.
We're going to start with our ratings like we normally do. On the Rotten Tomatoes tomato meter, it gets a 40%, with an average rating of 5.2 out of 10. 49 fresh reviews, 73 rotten. The audience score is 46%. I lisped a
Okay,
little.
Mike Tyson.
With an average score of 3.2 out of 5. If you call me Mike Tyson again, I'm going to eat you too. That was a little bit Mike Tyson mixed with Michael Jackson, but
Yeah.
IMDb gives it a 6.2 out of 10. The budget was $15 million. It grossed $8.8 million. The critics' consensus: with a predictable and lightweight story, the earnest efforts of the cast are squandered by the Rockers' bland script.
Predictable. Thank you.
James Broadinelli from Real View said, this is prepackaged entertainment, a product designed to give bored teenagers something to watch on a Friday or Saturday night when steamy summer nights are getting longer and Labor Day is just around the corner.
Fair.
Owen Gleiberman from Entertainment Weekly, the only brazen thing about the film is how shamelessly it rips off School of Rock.
Yeah.
I don't think that shamelessly rips off. I just don't think they're that similar. Like, I get the energy and vibes similarity, but it's not like it's copy paste.
What do you prefer? Shameless by Garth Brooks or Shameless by Billy Joel?
I don't think I know either song.
I'm sorry. What?
I don't know the entirety of Billy Joel's discography. I'm sorry to say. And I actively ignore Garth Brooks.
Me too.
You
But
sound like
Billy
the child from
Joel,
The Grudge for a second there.
you can't. I've only seen that movie once, and it wasn't scary. You can't ignore Billy Joel. You're or not know his entire discography. It's in your blood.
I've probably heard it before, but it's not coming to my mind immediately.
Okay. Now, here's a more important question. When you think of Proud Mary, do you think of CCR or do you think of Tina Turner? This is a question that I ask before I find out if I can actually enjoy somebody's company.
I personally think of Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Oh, well, that's the end of our 31-year relationship.
I like CCR.
You don't think, but when you think of Proud Mary,
I think of CCR. I picture it because we're bound.
But if somebody says to you, you know the song Proud Mary, you don't think not
really. I've listened to the CCR version a lot more.
Yeah. Okay.
May I continue the reviews?
Yeah, I guess so.
Any yawns or coughs you need to get out?
I could yawn.
Oh my God.
Oh, here comes Sally. Okay, go ahead.
Richard Roper from Ebert and Roper. It is a goofy and amusing late summer film with more than enough laughs to recommend it. And Bill Goody Koontz from Arizona Republic. How much you ultimately like the rocker will inevitably depend on how much you like Rainn Wilson, and a little goes a long way. Couple letterbox reviews. Joe Dunn. I got this Blu-ray and a 7-Eleven. And you know what? I think I've seen this movie out of 7-Eleven before.
That's great.
Carson Christensen, we have School of Rock at home. Transported Man, it's like School of Rock, but with bad indie alt rock songs. I still like it though.
Oh,
And the last one, C. Newberry. So maybe it wasn't as great as I remembered.
that is a fucking that is a real thing that happens.
Oh, of course. Um, let me see here. Before I get to my fun facts, the movie was directed by Peter Cataneo, who also directed The Full Monty, Lucky Break, and Military Wives. The screenplay is by Maya Forbes and Wally Wolodarski, who also wrote Trolls World Tour, Monsters vs. Aliens, and A Dog's Purpose.
A Dog's Purpose. That's the movie that we kept thinking about with all the animals that got fucking that PETA was like,
I
nope.
think it's that one. They also wrote a movie called A Dog's Journey. So it's definitely one of those two. I'm just not sure which.
Yeah. Either way, I'm not watching
That was like, we're
either.
drowning dogs. Like,
Yeah.
Um,
Not gonna happen.
the movie starred Rainn Wilson, who you know from The Meg, Juno, and probably The Office. Academy Award winner Emma Stone as Amelia. You know what? Do I need to do this? I feel like I said everybody who was in this movie.
Yeah, you could just start naming names if you want.
Dimitri Martin is in it for a scene, the stand-up comic, and Aziz Ansari is in the movie briefly. Yeah, I think we said everybody else. John Glazer.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny specifically though that there are 2 Academy Award nominees in this movie. All right, where was I? Okay, so last thing before we get to some funner facts, the music for the movie was by Chad Fisher, who also was the composer for Garden State, Scandal, and Private Practice. But you may more famously know he wrote the theme song for the show Scrubs. I'm No Superman.
Oh shit. Isn't that who sings that? Isn't that Five for Fighting?
No, I had to look it up because it's his band. Hang on. Laszlo Bain is the name of the band, but he's in the band and wrote the song.
Huh. I thought Five for Fighting sang that. Oh no, they sang a different song called Superman.
Am I mixing that up with the Three Doors? Is it Three Doors Down that does?
Kryptonite.
Yes, that's what it is. Okay.
Superman is I can't stand flying.
Okay. Five for Fighting. Don't like him.
Me neither.
It sounds like he's singing when he's been at the dentist's office and he's on the Laffy Cast.
Yeah. They also sing hold on, 100 Years, which is I'm 50.
I know the song very well.
My
first girlfriend,
horrible.
my first girlfriend in 9th grade told me, she was like, this is our song. I was like, what do you mean? I don't accept that. She was like, no, you do. I was like,
Wait, what was her name? What was
I'm
her
not
name?
saying her name.
Please, because I need to know if I remember.
No, I'll tell you after. How about that?
Tell me what it rhymes with.
No. But I distinctly remember the moment of her being like, this is gonna be her song. And I was just like, so
Isn't it so interesting? Do you remember when you were younger and in a relationship, you'd be like, okay, well, we have to have a song. And it's like, as an adult, when does that ever come up outside of like your wedding song?
as an adult, poor Giselle has 1,000 references that I make with her that she has to know every one of them. There's no one song, there's 1,000 songs that it's like, if I say something, you have to know what it's from.
Right. There was a brief time when the first time Corey and I ever went on vacation together, we were laying in the bed in the hotel, like before we fell asleep, and we both just started singing Drops of Jupiter. And we laid in the hotel room on the bed and sang every word to the whole song like a cappella. Just both knew the whole song. So for a brief period of time, that was like oddly our song. But now it's like, I don't know. Like, and it's so interesting because I feel like, someday it's like, all right, well, what's our wedding song going to be? And it's kind of just like, I don't know. What are you
Drops of
into?
Jupiter?
Like, what song sounds good? But like in middle school, it was like, no, we need a song.
Yes, because I think the middle school and high school brain is like, no, that means we're in love. We have a song.
Right. Yeah. Like if we don't have a song, what are we doing here?
Do you think there's somebody out there whose song was one of the songs from this movie?
Oh my God. Yeah.
Based on box office
probably.
reception, probably not.
Yeah.
Okay. I do have a few fun facts.
Okay.
To promote the movie, the song Promised Land, as performed by Vesuvius, was released as a free downloadable content for the video game Rock Band. A viral marketing effort for the film began on August 11, 2008, when Rainn Wilson posted a message to the MySpace blog of Jenna Fisher. And that has been the most 2000 sentence I will ever say.
Wow. Yikes.
Additionally, there was a Flash game titled The Rocker TV Toss that was released. In the game, the player controls fish in first person. The objective to do damage to a hotel room by tossing TVs at various objects.
Okay.
So, BJ Novak, who is famously Ryan on The Office, revealed that when they were meeting with people to replace Michael Scott's character in season 8, one of the people they met with was James Gandolfini. You know who James Gandolfini is, right? You're looking.
Yes, Dylan.
Okay. James Gandolfini told BJ Novak his favorite movie ever was The Rocker.
What?
Swear to God, that's according to BJ Novak, that is what James Gandolfini told him.
James Gandolfini, who is no longer with us,
R.I.P.
cannot defend himself. So how dare you make accusations like this?
I'm just saying he loved Vesuvius and a.d.d.
That is crazy. So put this into context for me. This movie came out in 2008.
Yes.
Where were we in The Office?
I think the show started in 2004, so probably around like season 5 or 4.
Okay, so he was definitely like Dwight Schrute was trying something new.
I think it's his first movie he starred in. Yeah,
Okay.
season 5 starts in September 2008, so it came out between seasons 4 and 5.
Okay.
Another interesting thing about James Gandolfini, he was offered $4 million to do season 8 of The Office, and he did not do it because HBO paid him $3 million just to do nothing. To not be in The Office, HBO was like, here's a bag of money.
Wait, why didn't they want him to be in it?
I guess they were worried that it would affect, like, that maybe it would make fun of Tony Soprano or have some sort of effect on that. I don't know.
Okay, that's fair.
The movie is loosely based, allegedly, on Pete Best, who was obviously the original drummer for the Beatles, and as we talked about, has a cameo in the movie. Emma Stone learned to play bass for the movie. Rainn Wilson's character is named Robert Fish Fishman. John Fish Fishman plays drums in the rock band Fish.
Yeah, interesting.
And last thing I've got, Teddy Geiger is a multi-platinum Grammy-nominated songwriter who's written songs for Lizzo, One Direction, Maroon 5, and a lot of Shawn Mendes songs.
Wow. Shawn Mendes walks around like he's coming up with them all by himself.
Like, I can tell you, I don't know a lot of Shawn Mendes songs. I think every Shawn Mendes song I know is written by Teddy Geiger. She's given him all the best material she's got.
Wow, that is so interesting. I'm looking this up right now.
Like, I'm pretty sure In My Blood, which I feel like is a huge Shawn Mendes song written by Teddy Geiger.
Yeah, bad though. Bad song. No offense, Teddy Geiger.
I'm sure she's sleeping well at night.
Wow,
Plenty
she
of
wrote
song
Fitness by Lizzo. Lost in Japan. I love that song. In My Blood. Yep, you're right. James Blunt songs. Wow. Empire of the Sun. Wow. No Promises. Treat You Better. Wow.
I feel like I know that, but I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Maybe
Oh,
I
it's
could treat you
than I can.
better. Yeah.
Who's saying it better? Let us know in the comments.
Niall Horan. Wow. The Chicks. Wow. That's great. That's really,
You're
really
turning
great.
into Owen Wilson over there.
Oh, wow. That's really good. John Legend. Wow. Yeah, that's really interesting because I did really like Teddy Geiger when she was a solo artist.
I know she did put out an album. Like, I was watching stuff about her for this, talking about the songwriting stuff, and I was like, oh, she did do a solo album somewhat recently.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's so interesting to me. I want to address the elephant in the room here, and I should know this, but maybe you know better than me. If I'm addressing Teddy Geiger from 10 years ago, when that person identified as male, wouldn't I address that version of this person as he?
I don't think so. This is really us showing our like cis heteronormative nature here that we're like, I
Yeah.
don't got a fucking clue. I'm trying to be
But
respectful. I think no, because I believe that's I don't want to say dead name because it's still Teddy Geiger, but dead
right. Well,
pronouns.
exactly.
Like if I'm referring to the character Curtis in The Rocker, I can say he did this, he did that. But I think if I'm referring to Teddy Geiger, I'm referring to her as she. If anybody who listens to this knows
Interesting.
better than us about obviously trans people, like I'm trying here.
Yeah.
Tell me so I
You
know.
know, my ex-sister-in-law is trans, and I feel
Well,
like
if you were referring to her before she was,
right, right,
transitioned, you
right.
wouldn't refer to her as him.
Yeah, but I think we did. And I don't I mean, I think she also did.
Hmm.
But maybe that might have just been a personal thing, like to, I don't know. Anyway, I'm just trying to get it right. You know what I mean? We're all people here.
I also just want to
Um,
get it right. Yeah.
yeah. Because I feel bad being like when he put out the song, but I feel like that's not incorrect based on my personal experience, but I could be wrong. Also, it might be personal to the individual. Either way, when Teddy Geiger was writing songs prior to transitioning,
Hmm.
those songs were really good.
Send me a specific song because I
I
do
will.
like the ADD Vesuvius stuff, and I'm
Did
hoping that maybe there's some crossover.
did Teddy Geiger assist in the writing of those songs?
Maybe for the ADD stuff. Definitely not for the Vesuvius stuff.
Well, no, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, do you remember Kristen Cavallari from
The Hills?
yeah,
Wow, look at you
from
doing
Laguna Beach.
all that. Oh no, I was about to congratulate myself too. I was like, all that time you watched TMZ back in like 2006 and 7 really paid off, and it didn't.
Yeah.
That was
No, I
turns
mean,
out that was not important.
she was on the hills, but she was on the hills, but she started as Laguna Beach.
She's not the one that was with Jay Cutler, right?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Let me
Somebody more
see.
famous, I think.
Um, who's Jay Cutler?
Former Miami Dolphins, Denver Broncos, Chicago Bears quarterback.
Yeah, they were married and they
Oh,
got
hey.
divorced. Very
Oh,
good, Dylan. I think they got divorced. Anyway, she was like the girl in that music video, in
I
the Teddy
also,
Geiger music video.
I also just
So I
remember
sent you the video.
I will listen to it later. I also remember Jay Cutler came out as having diabetes during his playing career, and people were like, and that's why he was so tired. I was like, maybe he just stays up too late. Like, I was like, you don't know that.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of reasons people are like, maybe I have diabetes because I can't keep it together.
Am I so boring, Gab?
No, no, no. I don't know what's wrong with me. Actually, I do know what's wrong with me. I'm trying really hard to not drink caffeine after like I basically have 1 cup of coffee in the morning and a little like pre-workout before my training, and then I'm used to having a lot of caffeine after that, but I'm not anymore.
Caffeine's the only way that I make it through each day.
Yeah, same.
So
That's why I'm not making it.
let me ask you a question, Gab. Are we pitching?
We are pitching, baby.
Here's my quick pitch.
Pitch me hard.
Here's the pitch. And the pitch! You just pitch? I don't need to hear the pitch.
Gab, do you have something? Do you want to go first with this?
I want you to go first because I know mine's better than yours.
It probably is because I came up with mine like 5 minutes before we recorded.
Okay.
So it's a sequel. The title is School of the Rocker,
Oh my God.
where I mix this even more with the Jack Black energy Rainn Wilson brings to it, where he is using the top musical school's drum class to try and find the next drummer for a.d.d. when he is retiring. His assistant to help him find the next drummer will be a very angry, too harsh Miles Teller teaching technique, while Fish teaches the attitude, the party, and how to get sloppy.
It's not bad.
Thank you.
So I had a title for mine. Sally.
Sally, that's a terrible title.
I I had a title for mine and I forgot. And I said to myself, I'm gonna forget this. And I did. So anyway, mine is a psychological thriller directed by Darren Aronofsky.
I
And
love it
in this
already.
movie, what'd you say?
I love it already.
Okay. In this movie, Fish is positive that he was a famous drummer in a band that has kicked him out. And everyone around him is like, no, you weren't. You're delusional. What are you talking about? And he's positive that he was. And he's thinking that they're just trying to like get him to move on with his life. And it's all about him descending into madness, trying to prove that he was indeed the original drummer for Vesuvius. Joaquin Phoenix will play Fish. Timothy Chalamet will play Curtis, the singer. Zendaya will be the Emma Stone character.
So the new band does exist.
The new band exists, yeah.
Does the old
well,
band exist and he was never a part, or does the old band not exist at all?
Well, that's for Darren Aronofsky to decide. Who am I to say?
Okay.
But
That
in
seems
the new
pretty crucial, but okay.
band, well, it's up to the interpretation of the viewer as to whether or not he was ever really in the band in the beginning. But he does at some point join a band. Are they real? Could go either way. So let me finish though, please. The Josh Gad, his nephew character, will be played by Jacob Elordi.
You're missing a great opportunity to put Mark Ruffalo in there as a teenager.
No.
I wanted to just be like, I'm just one of the kids. You know what? Prom's hard.
And finally, the original or the band members of Vesuvius will be played by Jared Leto, Tom Hardy, and making his dramatic debut as the third member of Vesuvius, Pete Davidson.
God, yours just sounds awful.
I gotta be honest with you, I think it sounds great.
I don't think Darren Aronofsky is I feel like I'm mixing Darren Aronofsky and David O. Russell together. Darren Aronofsky's like Black Swan, and he did what's that movie with Jennifer? What's her name? Jennifer.
I don't know, but I know it's called Requiem for a Dream.
No. Oh, is that Aronofsky? Yeah. Which
Yeah.
have you ever seen Requiem for a Dream?
No,
Not fun. Not fun at all.
haven't seen it.
No.
What's it
oh my
about?
God, what's the movie I'm thinking of with what's her face? Jennifer Lawrence plays the character who it's like very much supposed to be an allegory for fuck. They marketed it as a horror movie and it's not really a horror movie. Oh, it's right on the tip of me brain.
Don't Look Up,
No.
Red Sparrow. I'm just looking at her movies.
That's what we look-
Passengers,
No.
Joy,
No.
American Hustle,
No, you're not even like trying to suss out the name. It's like I think it's a one word
Silver
name.
Linings,
No. Good movie though. I like that movie.
Causeway,
No.
Mother,
Yes. Yes, that's it.
Mother.
Oh, I can sleep now.
I don't understand. What is it?
It's a terrible movie.
Oh,
And a baby gets destroyed
Yeah.
in it.
it is Darren Aronofsky.
Yeah. Darren Aronofsky feels like he's like, my movies are too smart for you.
Yeah,
You can't understand my movies.
That's why I have him directing this.
Darren Aronofsky feels like to me he's like the real life version of Kip from Napoleon Dynamite, but like way up his own ass.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I like that. Sure.
Darren Aronofsky, if you'd like to come on the show and talk about how you're not Kip, please reach out to us.
Yeah, please. If you'd like to come on to discuss Napoleon Dynamite as a movie you nominate to watch before you die.
Ooh, I would
Please
love
let
to
us
hear
know.
Darren Aronofsky talk about it. People, let's make it happen.
Yeah, please get on Twitter or whatever it's called now.
All right. Should we get to the somewhat predictable verdicts?
Yeah.
Do or do not. There is no try.
The guilty will be punished.
Sentence is death.
I'll go first. It's my movie. I think The Rocker's fun. I think Rainn Wilson gives a fun performance. I think there's a lot of funny moments. Like I had a bunch of quotes written down that I did not say because the vibes were not going that way. Is it a movie to watch before you die? I guess not. I still
You admit that
enjoy
it's
it,
not?
but I'll admit it's not like you gotta see it. Yeah.
Wow. Dylan, you have been quoted as saying you would never nominate and then not endorse.
I still think it's good, and I think it's a fun watch. But I'm after having rewatched for the first time in what had to have been at least 10 years, would I say to somebody you have to see it? No. But I think it deserved to do better when it came out. It should not have been a total box office flop, I think.
So that's your verdict and you're sticking to it.
Yes. I'm gonna be pissed now if you're like, you know what?
Well
It wasn't a
done.
movie to watch before we die the whole time.
I loved it.
Fuck you.
No,
No,
I
you
hated it.
didn't.
It was
Yeah.
so bad. It was horrible. Oh my God. I will never get that time back from my life. Corey and I have been saying for days we could have done so many other things with our time. It was so bad. It was so predictable. There was no fucking way that Christina Applegate was going to be interested in Rainn Wilson.
She
There was
wasn't. They
no
don't end up
fucking
in a
way.
relationship, which I
Whatever.
appreciate.
It was so bad. Um, I was so happy when it was over. It was like a giant what the fuck. Rainn Wilson, it made me not even really think that he was great anymore. So it tarnished his reputation for me.
I will say, can we talk
Um,
about it's weird in this movie that twice they use women, the woman kisses a guy just to stop him talking. And I'm like, that doesn't seem okay. I don't
yeah,
think that's
yeah,
a
yeah,
thing.
yeah. Yeah. Hate, hate,
Otherwise, men
hate,
would never
hate,
shut the
hate,
fuck
hate.
up.
Hate, 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 hate. Loathe entirely. Bad movie, bad job. And yeah, thanks for nothing.
Well, if you want to suggest a movie that Gab can tell you she hates and loathes, you can send us an email at movies2watchbeforeyoudie@gmail.com. Or if you want to tell us anything about what you liked about this episode, didn't like about this episode, or I don't know. What'd you do today? What'd you have for breakfast? Send me an email, movies2watchbeforeyoudie@gmail.com. Um, you can also send us a voice message at anchor.fm/movies to watch. You can subscribe to us on YouTube. You can answer our questions on Spotify, because that's the thing that I do every week.
Yeah, you can Venmo me.
If you go into our link tree below, you can Venmo Gab in there. You can find all of our social media type of stuff. There's also a link tree below because we are in the Holopods network with our podcasting friends. So they're down there if you want to hear any of their stuff. Yeah, you got anything else?
No.
Keep on rocking on.
Yeah, opportunity rocks.
We need a drummer, okay? And you play the drums. You've been a pretty terrible uncle over the years. Yeah, you only come by when you need something from my mom. You never remember my birthday. You called me Max till I was 11.
Okay, what's your point, Matt?